How is it going, guys? Welcome to a 700-pound gaming PC build. Let's get right into this with the CPU. Went with the AMD FX 6300 Black Edition 6-core CPU, 3.5 GHz, 4.1 GHz turbo, 8 MB of level 3 cache, AM3 plus 95 watts, and it's about 88 pounds. Now, originally, I really wanted to fit an FX 8350 into this budget, but basically, I had to make a choice on whether or not to get the FX 8350 or to get a better GPU, which I'll get into later. I opted for the better GPU route because that's going to help a lot in performance, and the FX 6300 is still a very solid CPU. Even when it comes to things like live streaming and video editing, it's still 6-core CPU. So say you're live streaming, you can dedicate 2 cores to live streaming and 4 cores to gaming, so that's going to be pretty nice. Unfortunately, I could not fit a CPU cooler into this build. The stock cooler will get the job done, but the stock cooler isn't anything special, so if you guys do want to pick up a Hyper 212 for about 25 pounds down the line or in the future, you guys can do that, and that'll help just to keep the CPU cool. It really won't, allow for extensive overclocking, but just to have your CPU cool, that's going to extend the life expectancy of that. So that's something to look at in the future, and the FX 6300 is awesome. While 6 cores isn't being fully utilized in gaming today, while the move to next generation, more and more developers are going to look into using multi-core technology, so getting an FX 6300 is not a bad idea now, especially considering how good of a value it is at 88 pounds, and how good it is at video editing, live streaming, like I said, and it's just really good. Really no reason to get an i3, which is about 20 pounds more expensive. Really good CPU, and it's actually selling really well now. Some places are out of stock on it, so you guys might want to pick this up soon. The 6300 is just a great CPU. I can't say anything bad about it. For the motherboard, I went with the Asus M5897LE. Originally, I wanted to get something a little bit higher end, but again, had to save a little bit of money for some other stuff in the build, which this motherboard is still really rock solid. It's about 55 pounds. Unfortunately, you will not be able to go for a Crossfire or SLI configuration with this motherboard, but still, it is really good considering the graphics card that I got will, basically, you won't have to SLI or Crossfire, and basically what I recommend in the future is instead of SLIing or Crossfiring, just sell the graphics card you're using and then buy another graphics card that would beat up to your expectations. That's what I recommend. Also has 4 RAM slots, so that's gonna allow you some upgradability options for your RAM in the future. Speaking of RAM, I went with Corsair Vengeance 8GB, 2 4GB sticks running at 1600 MHz for about 58 pounds. Really good RAM. It's from Corsair. It's their Vengeance series, and it's really solid RAM. I'm not a fan of the blue color, so if you guys want to get it in red, if it's available, I would say go with that. I'm not really a big fan of the Corsair Vengeance Blue, but hey, that's a personal thing. Didn't go with 16GB, of course, because this is more of a budget build. 16GB is supposed to be for the really high-end builds, and even then, 16GB isn't going to help a lot in games. That's more for video editing and whatnot, and this is primarily a gaming build with editing and live streaming as a side thing. Again, the motherboard has 4 RAM slots, so upgradability options to 16GB of RAM in the future is available if you so want to. That's not going to become a standard until 2-3 years down the line, so you guys have a lot of time to make up your decision on whether or not you want to go for 16GB of RAM. For the graphics card, and what a majority of the build went to, almost 50% actually, I went with the Asus GTX 770 DirectCu 2. Now, the DirectCu 2 is going to allow for extensive overclocking to get even better performance out of this graphics card. I can tell you guys from personal experience that the 770 is an absolute beast of a card. If you're playing at 1080p, there is not a better card than the 770 right now for that kind of a price. You can play any game like Battlefield 3, Crysis 3 maxed out and get, 50, 60, well above 60 frames per second. Battlefield 3, actually, you get well above 60 frames per second. So, the GTX 770 from Asus DirectCu 2, that fan solution is awesome, and 770 is just a great card for the money. So, moving on from that, for the power supply, I went with the Corsair TX 650, 650 watt power supply. It's 80 plus bronze certified for about 70 pounds. Now, this is going to be able to power the build no problem at 650 watts, and yeah, can't say much more about it. And it's Corsair, it's 80 plus bronze certified, which you always want, so good stuff right there. For the hard drive, I went with Western Digital WD Blue 1TB Caviar Blue. Now, if you guys already have a hard drive from a previous build, you can either skip this step entirely and use the hard drive you already have, or you can use the funds that you were originally going to use on the hard drive and get like a 60GB SSD, which you can put your OS on and your key applications, but you still want a 1TB hard drive for, your mass storage, all your Steam games and whatnot, because an SSD definitely cannot fit all that content. Finally, for the case, I went with the Cooler Master Half 912, solid mid-tire case. I use this case, has a lot of good features, a lot of good ventilation. Highly recommend this case. So it is on more of the pricey side. You guys actually get shafted for this. This is 68 pound, which roughly converts to $90 US. We actually pay $50 for this case, and right now it's actually $40 on Newegg. So that's crazy that you guys are getting shafted, but still a really good case. And yeah, thanks for watching this video, guys. Stay tuned for more videos. Hit that like button, comment, and I will catch you guys later. Peace!